Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite books of 2019. Okay, so in 2019, I read a grand total of 50 books. I set a goal for myself and I read exactly 50. So these 5 books are going to be my top 10% of books. My top 5, all of these books got a 5-star. So let's get into it. So my first favorite book that I read was Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. This is a narrative nonfiction. So it is nonfiction, but it's kind of written more like a novel. Essentially, the story is all about Lori and her experience as a therapist of several different clients and kind of how varied her experience was. I think this book is great if you like a narrative nonfiction, especially if you like stories that are more focused on character development rather than plot necessarily, because throughout this book you get the story of her own development as a person, as well as kind of her working with her different patients or clients and kind of their own development stories. So I would highly recommend this book. It's really interesting, especially if you have gone to therapy or interested in therapy or interested in that topic at all. I would definitely recommend this. Next, we have another narrative nonfiction. This is 3 Women by Lisa Taddeo. I don't know how to say it. Essentially, this is a story of 3 women and their romantic lives. Essentially, these 3 women are all kind of in their own unique, taboo sexual relationships, essentially. Reading the reviews of this one, it seems like it's kind of a love or hate book. Like, there are a lot of really positive reviews and there are a lot of people who just didn't really get it. However, I was definitely on the love side of this book. I really enjoyed it. Again, this is a book where it's not so much necessarily about the plot, it's more about just getting to know the women and feel like you really know different aspects of their personality, kind of the nuances of their unique situations. And I just thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. So this was number 2. Now, this next book I kind of hesitated to put in this list, but I feel like I had to because, to be honest, I feel like this was kind of a life-changing book for me, and that is Taking Charge of Your Fertility. Now, I know what you're probably saying, this book may seem like it doesn't relate to you if you're not trying to get pregnant. Personally, I am not, but I think this is a really great book if you're just interested in kind of holistic medicine, more natural approaches to health. I would say if you are a female with a reproductive system between like 18 and 45, I would highly recommend this book. It's one of those books that I could definitely see myself reading multiple times every year for the next few years because there's so much good information packed in this book. It is kind of more on the like science-y side. Like, it's a little bit more like textbook-y, but I don't want to say that's what it is because it's filled with a lot of stories. It's very approachable. I think if you are interested in just learning more about your own body, whether or not you want kids or you never want kids, that's kind of irrelevant to the point of this book. It's really about learning more about your own body and kind of how that knowledge kind of serve you in your phase of life. So I would highly recommend this book to pretty much anyone, honestly. Number 4 on my list is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This was a book that had pretty much everything that I like in a mystery and thriller. It was pretty fast-paced, it was atmospheric, and it had a pretty surprise ending that honestly caught me off guard, and it was kind of one of those perfect endings where it was like, I should have seen that coming, but I didn't. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I know this is making a lot of people's like top list because it was really good and it was one of my favorite books of the year. And then the 5th and final book on my list is a book that kind of honestly surprised me that it made into the top 5. Not because it wasn't a great book, but because it was kind of one of those books that, like, it's not sensational, it's not like really dramatic in any way or anything like that. It's kind of one of those just super solid books. Like, every time I look at it, I honestly just like think about how much I enjoyed reading it, because it was just one of those solid emotional books that kind of tugged on my heartstrings. And I can't stop thinking about it, honestly, even months after reading it. And that book is Beyond the Point by Claire Gibson. Now, essentially, this book is about three young women who all go to West Point together. It's a story about love and friendship and loss. And again, this is a more character-driven book. There are, does have a solid plot to it, but it's not a book that you read for the plot. I think it's really a book that you read for the relationships and the friendships. And if you're into that kind of thing, I would highly recommend this book. It follows the three women from the point of them being kind of seniors in high school, graduating high school, all through kind of their early adult lives. And it was just really solid. I really enjoyed this book. So that is the fifth and final book on my list. Now, if I haven't posted yet, I will soon, my least favorite books of the year. So stay tuned for that if you're also interested in seeing kind of the other side of the spectrum. So that's it. Bye, guys.